So this week we are raising awareness of the campaign Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over. Now we're all familiar with this. It's pretty catchy and it's there for a reason. It's against any form of driving under the influence. I say any form because it doesn't just relate to alcohol. There are many ways of driving under the influence. Here to talk and help us learn more about the importance of this week and the safety of all drivers on the road is Sergeant Nathan Bradley of the Texas State Police. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so this is a very important week. It's just a very important topic altogether. First of all, tell us how exactly is drunk driving defined and what impact does drunk driving have on our community?
Sure. Well, drunk driving is defined by anybody operating a motor vehicle who's under the influence on a public roadway in Texas. And so, I mean, that right there is cause for all kinds of things that could happen. You know, crashes, single vehicle crashes, multiple vehicle crashes, possibly fatalities, injuries, and that is something that we take very serious here with the Texas Department of Public Safety.
Okay, and we know our Texans like to throw back a couple of beers, but tell us how big of an issue is drunk driving here in South Texas?
Well, as everywhere, it's an issue. You know, people want to, which is fine, they want to have get-togethers, gatherings, celebrate your holidays or any type of birthday party or graduation. And they're not either taking the time to plan ahead to set up. There's so many other avenues that people can make and choices that they can make to make sure that they get home safely without putting other people's lives in danger. So it's just it's a process of just, again, thinking ahead, thinking about the future and what it could hold for you, your family, or other people's families that are innocent bystanders on the highway.
Sure. And, you know, I can see it's clear that you take drunk driving very, very seriously. What have you personally done to combat drunk driving?
Well, here at the Texas Highway Patrol, we're always on the lookout for, drivers, especially late at night, early morning, that are driving erratically in a manner that could possibly be intoxicated driving. Unfortunately, sometimes we get there when the crashes has already taken place. And then you've got to go back and sort out, what happened. And unfortunately, a lot of times you're having to give a death notification or a notification to somebody that their loved one has been injured severely in a crash. So it's something that we do along with combating crime and terrorism in the state. Drunk driving is illegal, and it's something that we don't just look at a particular time of the year. It's an all year round operative that we are doing.
Yes, absolutely. And of course, that's something we never want to face, but unfortunately many of us are too familiar with, is losing someone or someone being injured that we love because of drunk driving or driving under the influence. Now, I know I personally have experienced driving, and there is that person that's driving erratically on the freeway or putting other people's lives in danger. I'm sure that there's an opportunity there for me to call and report this vehicle. What are some other ways that we as a community members can help you all in this movement?
That right there is one of the best ones, to contact 911 and get out the information on the direction you're traveling. Maybe give a description of the vehicle. If you can get a license plate, that's fine. If not, at least general idea of what the car looks like and which direction you're traveling. And then that gets relayed over to us, and then our communications puts that out to the troopers that are in or near that area so we can come and try to find them.
Great. Okay, so for anyone watching at home, remember that is an option. And for all you know, you could be saving somebody's life with just one phone call. Okay, so we get to be a little bit of a police officer ourselves making that call. Now tell us, how do we measure the effectiveness of campaigns like this? The Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over, it's something we're very familiar with. How effective are these campaigns? Are you able to measure that?
Well, I don't know. It's hard to say how to measure them, but I think they do a lot of good because you're drawing an increase of awareness to it, just like with the holidays initiatives, with New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, Memorial Day. That's when we really try to put a major emphasis on these things of, hey, utilize the resources that are given to you. You have some of the record companies here in town locally that offer free rides, just so you don't put somebody's life in danger or your own. There's taxis, Uber, Lyft. Designated drivers are still out there, people that don't drink but still like to go have fun and hang out and are willing to be that lifeline, so to speak, to get people home safely and keep other people safe.
I agree, and it's definitely something to consider. You want to make plans. It's okay. We want you to have a good time. It's okay to have a few drinks to celebrate anything. However, make sure that you're celebrating your life by keeping it and keeping other people safe as well. Now, you are very, very passionate about preventing drunk driving. Is it something that's affected you personally?
I think it's safe to say that it affects us all personally when it comes to not only the arrest that we make, but going beyond that, like I spoke about earlier, when you work the fatality crashes that are caused by intoxicated driving, and you see adults and children who have lost their lives due to something that was very much something that could have been prevented.
Mm-hmm.
And so it affects us in that way. I've known several other people who have lost loved ones due to drunk driving, and you can understand a little bit more how they feel and what they go through. Delivering a death notification is by far the worst part of our job. That's same with, firefighters, EMS, doctors. That's having to notify somebody that a loved one or a friend has passed away. And it affects you, and it changes you to, how you become passionate about how you do the job, and trying to keep the highways and the streets safer for the other Texans that are out there and people who are coming into our state to visit.
100%. Well, give us a little advice for anyone watching. What would you like to share with the community when it comes to driving safe and preventing drunk driving?
Well, the biggest thing is just, again, try to plan ahead when you're sober. That's
Mm-hmm.
the biggest thing, because once you have consumed too much alcohol and you've lost your mental and physical faculties to be able to make rational decisions, that's when people think they're still okay to drive. They think that they can do anything and everything that they can do when they're sober, and they can't. So plan ahead, basically really get a plan in place to where you've got somebody that can drive you home, or you have somebody that can call an Uber or taxi or Lyft for you and get home safely.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for all of your insight, Sergeant Brandley. We appreciate you taking the time to visit with us and share the importance of preventing drunk driving. Again, remember all the information we learned in this video, especially the fact that you have the opportunity to save a life. If you notice somebody driving irresponsibly, it doesn't matter the time of day. For all you know, it could be an intoxicated driver, and we want to keep them off the streets and safe and sound. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for having me.